probably heard, Arrow's Canary was shown to be bisexual. Upcoming Gotham's Renee Montoya, you know from Gotham Central, that they've already advertised the TV show that her version is going to be. I don't know if she's going to be officially lesbian or bisexual.
She's a lesbian.
So
she's a lesbian, but then one of the other women is bisexual as well.
Gordon's fiance is her ex.
Yes. And then we had Agents of S.H.I.E.L.'s Victoria Hand, who apparently is, I think, lesbian in the comics.
They did not address it on the show.
Yeah. And then Constantine, I think recently the producer addressed the fact that they are not planning to explore his bisexuality, which is canon in the comic series.
The show sucks too.
And then we have Once Upon a Time Mulan, which caused a lot of eyebrows to be raised, especially being a Disney product. So, from your guys' perspective, is there, I know you kind of threw out comments already, but is there anything particular that you see as, you know, a kind of a sign of what's to come? Because I don't know, with the exception of Canary and Gotham,
and Flash too, actually. On CW is going to have 2 gay characters.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
No, he's playing Captain Cold actually, who's straight. So you're going to have a gay character, a gay actor playing a straight character, and then I think you're going to have Pied Piper and his secret boyfriend who works at Star Labs.
Now with Arrow, isn't this the first time that we've had something coming from one of the big publishers where the queer character is translated to the screen?
On television, I think it might be.
Yeah. So I think that's a game changer in some way, even if it's sort of, you know, on a consumer level, something we won't really recognize.
Yeah.
Well, I think Arrow's situation for me personally, I mean, I watch Arrow because of Black Canary. I'm a Black Canary fan. And I was really nervous because I know the creators and writers of Arrow kind of mine the DC, you know, history to kind of, you know, take their take on it. And I was nervous about the fact that if you know the comic lore of Black Canary is that the first Black Canary was her mother and she died. So when they introduced, you know, this new version of Black Canary, who's supposed to be the first version in this universe, and that she's going to be a lesbian or bisexual, I was just waiting for her to die at the end. I just expect
They
that.
teased us. They brought on River Song as her mother, and you thought maybe she was going to turn out to be a secret canary, but no.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that strikes me about the people specifically that we're talking about is there's not enough of them on these shows. Yeah. Like, we see them for like 1 episode, and then it's like, okay, bye. And so now Saffron Burrows actually has a new show on Amazon, so I don't know if she'll be back at Agent Hand very much. Black Canary is going to be back for 1 episode, at least the 2nd episode of the new season of Arrow. It's called Sarah. It's supposed to be very heavily about her, hopefully. And so I have high hopes for Gotham. I mean, she's supposed to be a regular character. She was supposed to be recurring at first, and now she's regular. So I'm really, really hoping that they do a lot with her. But, and Mulan, I mean, she showed up like briefly, you know what I mean? So, right, and so, yeah, so, I mean, sometimes I feel like they're throwing us a bone, and then we're like, okay, well, are we going to see more of this? So, yeah, that's really nice that we get 1 or 2 episodes, but I think what we need for somebody, more.
I think we have reason to feel optimistic about Renee Montoya on Gotham. She got off the series regular, and if you've seen the pilot, she's going to be one of the moral sort of people on the show, in a show that is completely devoid of them.
And she's queer right away.
Yeah.
There's no, like, you know, tiptoeing to the closet door for this.
Yeah, she's out, like, of the box. Like,
and you know,
right
the other thing that's really cool about Gotham is basically the police chief is actually now an African-American woman, and the head of the, like, I don't know what you call it, the mafia organization, you know, the Penguin's boss is an African-American woman. So you have these 2 women of color, of power, and then you have Renee, this lesbian, and then the bisexual character who is...
I think it's actually, Fox has to get a couple of props here because they have a pretty diverse lineup coming up in the fall. They also have a show, Empire, just going to diverge very briefly, that features a predominantly African-American cast that has a gay, central character. Mm-hmm. So they've been a lot smarter about not only diversifying the characters in terms of the LGBT spectrum, but they're also racially diversifying those LGBT characters, which is something that has been needed for a very long time.
Yeah.
and just, I think, more importantly, that you guys are really touching on the fact that we were able to have this conversation where we couldn't even recognize or have this sort of review even 3 years ago. So
yeah, although I don't know that it's Fox being altruistic or it's Fox seeing how well Scandal did, and now
no,
we can cast it black.
But the fact remains is, you know, regardless of how we got there, we're here now. So we're having these conversations about characters that are finally reflecting our own experience.
Yeah.
So,
Especially because when you bring up Constantine, like I was at the is like so awesome. It really is. So the creators just sort of like blew it off. Like he slept with a guy in he got out of bed in one episode or one comic book. So yeah, he's not really bisexual. They kind of just like threw it out the area. Like everybody caught on to this because it's like, come on. It would be so, how much more interesting would that be to see him bisexual? I think it would be so much more interesting.
I think you're right.
Well, who wrote Constantine again? Does anyone remember the name of the guy who wrote the pilot? I believe it might be the same guy who did Da Vinci's Demons.
Yeah, oh, it's him.
Oh, but Da Vinci is super bisexual.
Not
But on the
super
show.
bisexual.
And he was like always being asked about
They didn't completely straight wash Leonardo da Vinci, but they got really close.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
I
only
didn't
thing we know about that figure's sex life is that he was arrested for sleeping with a male prostitute. We don't know about any relationships with women. All we know is that in terms of the history, and they have made him into a James Bond, I think, figure. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of straight guys who are sleeping with no prostitutes.
They were experiments.
On that note, let's get into something more wholesome like Life with Archie. So you probably noticed in the past couple of weeks, there were a lot of headlines if you are the type of person who goes to those websites that had advertised or promoted the fact that Archie was going to die. And since I do, frequent those websites, I saw that initially it was, oh, Archie's going to die. And then I started seeing more headlines saying Archie's going to die because of his gay friend. And I'm thinking, okay, well, first of all, him dying is a spoiler in and of itself. And then the idea is, like, I'm kind of thinking, okay, how do I feel about the fact that they're also trying to promote that his gay friend is involved in this act? And then, of course, that is even before the issue was released. I mean, this is literally a week before. So a whole bunch of speculation, a whole bunch of hype without any substance. And then when you go into it and you actually read the issue, you kind of see that, okay, it's kind of open to interpretation. But what's interesting about it is in the afterword by, we have Victor Borelic, the co-president and editor-in-chief of Archie Comics. He wrote that it made sense that Kevin Keller, who in the series Life with Archie has become a bona fide hero, be the one who was saved by Archie. So I thought that was interesting that for Archie Comics, here is a gay character who, even in the teen series, is kind of like the moral compass of the group, which is kind of ironic if you consider that, LGBT characters as a whole usually are not. And to him also be the hero and be, make his saving his life elevates Archie to be even more heroic. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if there's any lessons learned from expectations for other creators and publishers.
I think one of the things that was so important about Kevin Keller is that, I had never read an Archie comic before they announced that character, but it is this very picturesque, idealized version of Americana made into a comic book, and then they basically demonstrated, look how easily we can slip a gay character into this world and not have it screw everything up. I think that was a really important thing. Now, the comic that Archie gets shot in is called Life with Archie, which has these two storylines in which one is an alternate reality where he marries Betty, and one's where he marries Veronica. And in the Veronica story, she was the campaign manager for Kevin Keller, who after being a war hero ran for Congress. Senator? Yeah. And one of his issues was gun control. So this actually was supposed to tie, I think, a couple different issues in together. That comic really did try to, I think, broach a lot of different real-world social issues in a way that the main Archie comic couldn't, including things like breast cancer and gay marriage. I don't know if you remember 1 Million Moms decided to go crazy on them for...
As we call them, 4,000 moms.
4,000 moms and a part-time webmaster. They were not successful.
So did Archie actually die trying to save Kevin's life? Is that's
well,
how
the way they drew the panels, and again, this panel's all about spoilers. The way they drew the panels is that you have one frame of Archie seeing the gunman raise the gun, and you see him, sees Kevin being a potential target, and then right next to it is Betty and Veronica standing next to each other. So Kevin trying to go in front of Betty and Veronica, so it's a lot of interpretation. But at least the benefit of the doubt is that he was trying to save his friends, and Kevin was part of that group.
Well, it's nice to see the gay guy not die.
Yeah.
Archie's alive and well in his other books, so he's okay.
He's got a hold of this.
He's got a hold of it.